What's up, boxing fans? It's your boy Ash. Just want to talk about boxing a little bit. I mean, I've been off the scene for a while. Actually, I've been in Iowa for about 10 weeks. Um, so let's chop it up. Andre Berto versus Robert Guerrero. Very good fight. Initially, I didn't think Robert Guerrero was ready to campaign with the big boys at 47. Being that he wasn't a guy who even campaigned at 140, I thought it was probably too much of a jump for him. If you look in the history of the sport, at least in the recent history, a lot of guys haven't been able to just jump from lightweight to welterweight and make it a successful venture or a successful move. I mean, Shane Mosley was able to do it, skip over the 140-pound division welterweight, and fought two guys before he fought Oscar. I mean, common knowledge at that time was that he was too small for welterweight, but he proved them wrong. But there also have been guys who tried to make the jump and they were unsuccessful, and we're talking about really good fighters like Corrales. He tried to make a jump from lightweight to welterweight, fought Joshua Clyde and got his ass whooped in that fight. Rest in peace to Corrales, true champion. But Robert Guerrero was able to prove the naysayers wrong when he was able to prove me wrong in particular. And he continues to call out the best at that weight, in particular Floyd Mayweather Jr., which may be, in the near future, who knows. But as of now, he's going up against the toughest fighter, or maybe the best fighter to date. Definitely the largest fighter to date, but at the same time, when you see these guys face off, they look rather similar in size, except Berto looks a tad bit heavier because he's the bigger man. I mean, when he was just a prospect, he was debuting at 160 pounds, 154, something like that, and he ended up finding his weight, his first weight, natural weight to campaign at, which is welterweight. He never fought anything below that, at least in his professional career. But Berto is coming off of that win against Zavik. He's been basically rusty for a little while, and if there were a time for a guy to catch Berto slipping, I guess it would be now. I don't want to get into the dirty urine analysis or whatever, because that was for a different fight that was supposed to be for the rematch, in which he lost a really good fight against Victor Ortiz. I want to get directly into this fight with Robert Guerrero. In terms of their opponents, I mean, I don't really want to say that a guy has a better resume than another guy. I mean, they both have fought some solid, incredible fighters. Robert Guerrero, he's been trying to get guys like Marquez to get into the ring with him, and that's a very, very tough challenge, and it's a tough challenge for Marquez. But when you're trying to secure lucrative fights against Pacquiao and the like, a fight against Robert Guerrero doesn't bring the kind of dollar figures that you're looking for, at least at that point in his career. I mean, Marquez is basically on his way out. I mean, he's not going to be around for much longer. He's up there in age. He's had a solid career, Hall of Fame type career. So I can't really knock him for that. And besides, if you look at his resume, he's fought a lot of guys, to cement his legacy. And Robert Guerrero is trying to do the same, even though he's not that old. But a closed mouth doesn't get fed. He's calling guys out, and now he gets the biggest fight of his career, and it's a big money fight for him as well. When I think of the skill sets that they bring to the ring, Berto, I mean, let's be honest, he still has the same flaws that he's had in the past. And one of the biggest flaws I've seen out of Berto, and I've mentioned this on several occasions, is the fact he don't use a jab. The guy will abandon that jab, trying to look for that big right hand. Fundamentally, he's not sound. I know he knows his fundamentals. I know he knows how to throw a jab, but he gets into his comfort zone and just abandons it, and that is a flaw. Guys like Shane Mosley has done the same thing. You just cannot abandon the jab. The jab is one of the most fundamental punches in boxing. It's the punch that sets up everything. You set up your combination punching behind the jab, and the jab also keeps your opponent offset. So why not use it? You know, I know it doesn't have a lot of power on it, but it's not meant to knock guys off their feet. It's meant to stop guys in their track and, you know, at least set them up for the big punch. But he's right hand dominant, and you know, at least until he ran into Victor Ortiz, he's been successful in the way that he fights. Robert Guerrero does use a jab, and he has a really good one too. Stiff one, solid, is precise. He sets up his combinations off of it. He's a southpaw. I'm not a real believer in his power, at least not like he believes in it. He seems to think he has enough power to knock out the big boys, and I tell you what, on fight night, he's gonna have to show and prove, because I don't see it. I don't see the big knockout power, at least at this weight. At featherweight, he could crack a little bit, but at welterweight, hey man, when you make that big old jump, sometimes the power doesn't go with you. And one thing we know about Berto is he does have power at this weight. And what Robert Guerrero will see from Berto is not just a naturally bigger guy. He's gonna see the best hand speed he's seen in his whole career. Now, what would that mean for him? We'll just have to find out, because Berto does pack a punch with that hand speed. And if he's able to crack Robert Guerrero on that chin, we'll see if Robert Guerrero can really take a big punch at this weight. But one thing I give Robert Guerrero is his skill set. And he does have the type of skill set that'll reveal all Berto's vulnerabilities. He's susceptible to the straight left from a southpaw fighter, and he's susceptible to a good jab. You can keep Berto offset, you can stand him up with that jab, and you can set him up for big punches. Only the guys who have halfway decent skills are able to do it, but as of to date, no one's been able to just beat Berto down. Even in the fight with Ortiz, Berto fought Ortiz. He gave him a good fight. It just so happens that Victor Ortiz beat Berto a lot worse than the fight that he actually put up. Victor Ortiz actually cemented himself as a legit threat at welterweight with that win. So I can't wait to see this fight. We will know a lot about both guys after this fight. A good win will be a great confidence booster for Berto as he continues to try to push for a major fight with Floyd Mayweather, or maybe he'll be looking to try to fight Cotto at 154, or maybe he's still looking for that redeeming rematch against Victor Ortiz, who has his own set of problems. For Robert Guerrero, the fight he's been looking for is Mayweather, and if history hasn't taught us anything, a good solid win over Berto can definitely cement him in line, at least place him firmly in line to face him. Mayweather, I don't really want to talk much about him because he need to fight somebody to get the hell out of the sport. And we'll just have to see what happens. If Berto wins, maybe Floyd should fight him. He need to do something. And if he's going to continue to say you're the face of boxing, well, guess what? Fight somebody. But in the Robert Guerrero and Andre Berto fight, it's a great fight for the fans. It should be entertaining. Berto is a guy who likes to attack, but he counters well, and I think that will tell me a lot about Robert Guerrero. He has a deceptive speed, but Berto's hand speed is significantly faster. And if he makes mistakes, I know Berto will crack that chin. But on the flip side, how hard can Robert Guerrero hit at this weight? Berto has taken flush shots from Ortiz, though he's went down twice. He hasn't been stopped. He's taken flush shots from guys like what is that guy named from New York? Collazo, another southpaw who has decent power. Ask Ricky Hatton. I mean, he's actually taken really good punches. He's taken shots from credible punchers at this weight, and Robert Guerrero seems to think he can punch harder than those guys. Well, we will have to see about that. But one thing we will know about this fight is that Robert Guerrero will be hit harder than he's ever been hit before, and this will tell us if he can endure a 12-round fight against a guy who is somebody at the weight, a top 10 contender at the weight. Supposedly he was supposed to be the IBF champion and not necessarily Devin Alexander or Randall Bailey, because Berto voluntarily gave up the title, the alphabet title, to secure the rematch with Victor Ortiz because the IBF wouldn't sanction it. So who gives a damn about titles We know what these guys bring to the table. We know about their resumes. We know about their skill set. Let's enjoy a great night of fighting. The recent, I've been getting email because I haven't really been to YouTube often. I've been working actually in Iowa for like 10 weeks or whatnot. 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather have been doing some beefing, and I was asked what I thought about it. I think it's two bunch of bitches sitting there talking shit about each other, putting public text messages on display for everybody to see them act like assholes. Straight up. When 50 first tried to put together a promotional team, I knew from the jump he saw how Floyd was getting that money. He was trying to see how he can get his in the process off of Floyd's name. Bottom line, the whole relationship is ended based on money, and it was probably bound to happen anyway. It's not like neither one of these guys are just stand-up guys. They're the best at what they do, as far as 50 in the music industry and just business in general, Floyd in boxing. But it doesn't necessarily they were meant for each other in a business venture together. Money's the root of all evil, and money has been the root of solid rapport being broken apart. You shouldn't mix business with pleasure. This is a prime example. These guys have been down for like 10 years, and now they're sending naughty messages about each other on Twitter. Who gives a damn? But as far as Floyd, I mean, you need to fight somebody, dude, or go ahead and leave the sport of boxing. If you're the face of boxing, then box. That's my 2 cents. And as far as I know I've made videos about Pacquiao. That was pretty detailed and wasn't too kind. But if you know my history, I did one about Floyd years ago too, so I'm pretty even on those terms. I don't really have favorites. I just don't like when favoritism is running the sport of boxing, when people are not being ridiculed equally. When you find all the excuses in the world for one and not ridiculing the other, when they're equally is wrong. I don't like that. I hate favoritism in boxing. But it exists. That's politics as we know it. It's going to continue to stick around as long as boxing's around. But that's all I got for you today, at least on this fight. Maybe I'll do another one in a minute or so. I got my kids in there acting crazy, so till then, it's your boy Ash. Holla at me. Peace.